Hello there, everyone. Back out here in my barn, and you know what day it is. It's Testy Tuesday. Yeah, it's still dark outside, so let's just bundle up and join me in the barn as we talk about Isaiah. That's our Old Testament lesson, comes from Isaiah. And our passage is Isaiah, the second chapter, verses 1 through 5. And the passage says that Isaiah was the son of, oh man, who was he the son of? Hey, wait a minute. Why don't you tell me who he was the son of? Are you ready? Are you ready? Now, the word that Isaiah, son of, was it Amos? Was it Amoz? Or was it Amok? Amos, Amoz, or Amok? Now, you have a 33.33% chance of getting it right, okay? And if you really think about it, your chances are really about 50% because one of those answers is really kind of crazy, especially if you run amok reading. Oh, man, I just gave it away. Okay, so was it Amos or Amoz? I'll read it again with the correct answer. The word that Isaiah, son of Amoz, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Yeah, that's whose son he was. Now, that's a little bit of trivia that you can just forget. All right, you don't need to remember that. But do remember what he says here. In the days to come, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established as the highest of the mountains, and shall be raised above the hills. All the nations shall stream to it. Many people shall come and say, Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, that he may teach us his ways, and that we may walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth instruction, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He shall judge between the nations, and shall arbitrate for many peoples. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. O house of Jacob, come, let us walk in the light of the Lord. Wow, what a passage that is for our first Sunday in Advent. And you see a lot of things happening there. If you go back to the first chapter of Isaiah, Jerusalem's a mess. It's been utterly destroyed. It is yucky. It's horrible, okay? But now something new has happened. Isaiah is looking forward to a time. It's that word anticipation we talked about on Mellow Monday being our theme for Advent. Anticipating the coming of the Lord. Anticipating something new happening. And that's what's happening with the people. Nations are going to go streaming like a river to Zion. Wait a minute. Mount Zion? It's up on a mountain. It's on the highest hill. Don't waters stream off of the mountain in amongst the people? No. Nations are going to stream like rivers into Jerusalem. That's how crazy this is. All right. You know what? And it's interesting, too, that verb, stream like a river, it can be translated in another way, too. It can also mean shine in joyful radiance. Wow. This is really getting interesting now, isn't it, folks? Okay, so, and what's going to happen? Well, they're going to learn from Yahweh. He's going to teach them his law, his Torah, and they're going to be able to walk in his ways. That's a metaphor you see quite a bit throughout the Old Testament. Walking, making movement, and it's not just physically walking one foot in front of the other. No, it means the way you live your life. And we're going to be doing it the right way, the way God wants us to do it. And this is all possible because what has happened? God is sitting in his temple in judgment of the nations. But it's not judgment of the nations, it's judgment between the nations. Everybody's bringing their disputes to God, and he is settling everything righteously, just like the king is supposed to do. We talked about that in our Psalm 122 as well. The king is supposed to be the one who's the mediator. Well, there's no king sitting there on the throne. There's no priest there doing it either. It's going to be God himself doing it. And what happens? All the weapons of warfare, they're torn apart and they're made anew. They're made into tractors and manure spreaders and corn harvesters. Oh no, wait a minute. That's if it was today. Plowshares and pruning hooks, agricultural equipment. Things that you do during times of peace, not war. All right. Well, what's interesting, though, is the way our passage ends. It ends with a call to the house of Jacob. Come, let us walk in the light of the Lord. Let us walk in the light of the Lord. We often talk about the light of God in the New Testament a lot. Jesus is the light. He said, I am the light of the world. Okay, yeah. But the light of God is found all over the Older Testament as well. Yeah, it goes way back to the Exodus even. There in the Exodus, remember one of those plagues was darkness? And here's the poor Egyptians are stumbling, tripping over each other, bumping into each other. They can't see a thing 6 inches in front of their face. But not the Israelites. They had plenty of light. Yep, they had plenty of light. You read all about that in Exodus chapter 10. Exodus chapter 10. And then you also have now in the prophet Isaiah himself, I'm looking for the quote. It's in chapter 42 of Isaiah, where he talks about turning darkness into light. And then a little bit later in chapter 60, the light has dawned upon us. That's a passage we often use on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Oh, wow. Lots of good stuff here. Lots of good stuff. Again, it's all about anticipation, knowing that it's not a reality now, but it's coming. Wait for it. Anticipate. And in the meantime, continue to do the good works that you're called to do and walk in His light. Oh, wow. I'm getting to like this Advent season already. We've just had two of the passages. I can hardly wait to see what Paul says in Romans. And also our gospel message will be from the Gospel of Matthew this week. Well, God's blessings be with you. And hopefully it keeps warming up like it has been on the last 2 days. Yesterday, it actually got up in the mid-40s, melted a lot of that snow away. Let's see how it gets up there today. God's blessings be with you.